Hey, what's going on? It's Greg with RC Driver. I'm really excited because 8-scale nitro season is finally in full swing here in the Northeast, and I've been cooped up indoors running electric, and I'm really looking forward to going outside, firing up a nitro engine, just run some buggies and truggies on a big wide open track. So what I've been doing to prepare is I'm actually getting my pit bag back together. This is the bag I bring with me when I'm tuning trackside during practice, or this is the bag that my pit guy has during the mains. And I just want to go through what's inside of this and hopefully it'll give you some ideas on what you need to have on hand for your pit bag. So right off the bat, let's start with the bag itself. This is a ProTech RC Pit Caddy, and this makes life so much easier to carry everything you need over to the trackside. So let me just go over the bag itself. It's a nice nylon fabric bag. It's got a nice padded handle here, really sturdy. It's got a bunch of different pockets and stuff in it, so you can put like parts and stuff in here, and we've obviously got some tool holders and stuff up here. So it's a really neat bag to have. You know, if you don't want to pick up a bag such as this, you know, there's like these Rubbermaid like cleaning totes that people use. I've seen people, they've cut open like gallon jugs, and they make a hole in the side of it, and they throw all their tools and stuff that they need in the jug, and that's an inexpensive way to carry the tools that you're going to need for the track, you know, over for racing. So, you know, there's a couple different options here, but I really love this pit bag. It works out really well. All right, so what I have inside is my starter box, and this is a ProTech Sure Start starter box. And it's a great starter box. It's a universal starter box. I use it for my RC8, and it's got some ProTech LiPo batteries in there. And just a little tip, charge your batteries before you go to the track. I've seen so many people that get to the track and they're charging their starter box batteries while everybody is out on the track practicing. Do yourself a favor, charge it up at home, and that way you get some more practice in once you get to the track. All right, so what I also have is this neat little ProTech starter box bag, and what this thing does is, like, you know, if you just need to carry a few things over the track, you could put your starter box in this, and you put your buggy in here, and you've got your radio and maybe your glow igniter, and you can just kind of carry it as a nice little tote separately. So it's just a neat little accessory to have. I saw it, I just had to have it. So that's that. What I also have on this side is a small servo box. Basically, you know, what servos came in, a Spectrum servo came in this one. But what I use this for is I store my glow plugs in here. So I've got, you know, a variety of different glow plugs. I actually have a few Venturis in there as well, just in case I want to tune something trackside. But the reason why I put the plugs in here is, one, you know, they stay in their card, so you can easily identify what they are. The second reason is I've seen those, you know, cool little glow plug aluminum caddies, and those are really neat for you know, having an organized caddy. Problem is like, let's say you flame out, you know, and a plug went bad during a race, or, you know, during warm up or whatever, and you're thrashing to, you know, swap out that plug. Well, do you really want to unscrew it from a caddy? Popping it out from the factory, you know, packaging, the card, is much easier in my opinion. And again, it makes it much easier to remember and see what type of plug it is. So that's a little tip there. All right, now swing over to the business side of this bag. All right, let me start with the fuel bottle stuff. So this is a Track Power. Yep, this is a Track Power fuel bottle. Just wanted to make sure. What I liked about this bottle is it's got a nice firm bottle to it. It seems like a very good quality, but it's still soft enough so you can give it a quick squeeze and fill up your tank quickly. What I also really liked about it, it's got this little boss right here. And basically, when you take your cap off, you can put it on this little boss so you don't lose it. I've seen so many people around the track and they have no cap on their fuel bottle. And you got to remember that fuel is hydroscopic, so it could pull moisture out of the air. And, you know, if you just want to keep your fuel fresh, as you should, always put the cap back on. So this kind of, you know, gives you a little spot to put the cap so you don't lose it. All right, let me just put that aside. And of course, I've got a fuel gun. This is a ProTech RC fuel gun. This is, most people use it during the main events. Fuel bottles used mostly during heats and practice. But this gets you the quick pit stops. So, you know, sometimes races are won in the pits. So having a fuel gun can help you, you know, gain valuable seconds. So it's a top fill, and it's got a, you know, just a nice easy pull trigger, and it fills tanks quickly. All right. Obviously, you're going to need some fuel. I've got my Byron Gen 2 fuel here. I like to use quartz, a little easier to transport. And again, with the hydroscopic effect, just having quartz means your fuel stays fresher because it's sealed. So it's just easier to have on hand, and make sure you have enough fuel on hand for long main events. Having a full quart is a good thing to have. So one more quick tip about fuel: make sure the top is clean, and make sure you always put the cap back on tight. Reason why I say keep it clean is debris could get inside. You suck it up in your fuel bottle and then transfer it to the tank. That's how a lot of debris gets into the tank. So just keep that in mind as well. All right. Head warmer. Very important. I suggest a lot of people get these. There's a lot of them available. This one here is from ProTech as well. And this is a portable head warmer. So what you do is you put this on your engine head about a heat or two before your race, and you hook it up to a LiPo battery, such as this Max Amps pack right here. And it's got a little button. You just hit the button and it starts to warm the head. It's got a little heating element inside. It even has this little flap up top that you could stick your glow igniter in and fire up your engine while this heater is still on it. But preheating your engine is very important. It makes starting your engine a lot easier, so there's less wear and tear on it. Plus, it gets your engine up to temperature that much quicker, so when you go out on the track for your warm-up laps, you can make sure your tune is right without having to wait for it to warm up. All right, that's that. Again, this is a Max Amps pack. It's a high-capacity pack, so I could get like a full day just on one charge and heating up my engine. So think about that. Think about getting a high-capacity pack so you're not charging an additional pack during the day. All right, let me go down the row here. Temperature gun. Every nitro racer should have a temperature gun. Even electric racers should have a temperature gun and check your motor temperatures. Always want to keep an eye on motor temperatures. Make sure it's not too hot, not too cold. It's a very valuable tool to have in a nitro caddy. All right, now I have two glow igniters. This one here is a ProTech. This is a TLR glow igniter. Reason why I say to have two, well, in my case, one of them always seems to die on its own somehow, some way. So having a spare on hand, make sure that your engine gets fired up. The other reason why I say to have two is because there's the walk away factor. All right, you're in the pits. It's crazy, during the warm up laps and starting, or perhaps somebody flames out, and that pit guy can't find a glow igniter, and they run over. They see a well prepared pit bag, and they just grab one out. So. And maybe they don't return it. So that way, if you have a problem, you have a second one on hand, and you can be rest assured that you'll be able to fire up your engine. All right. And again, charge these before you hit the track. You don't want to be, sitting in the pits while everybody's practicing, waiting for your stuff to charge. Just, I've seen so many people do that. I'm just trying to instill a good tip on you. All right. Glow plug wrench, and this is a Hoody Wrench. OS makes a great wrench kind of like this. What I really like about the T-Hill wrench is that I think you just get a better positive twist on it to pop the glow plug out and then to tighten it down. I find it just much easier than a kind of a standard style driver for glow plugs. So this is really nice. It actually has a 10mm nut on it as well for when you're doing clutches. It's got a 5mm hex on it for when you're doing pillow ball retainers. But most importantly, I use it for the 8mm driver here for glow plugs. So that's a nice little tool to have. Scissors. I don't know what it is. I always find that I need scissors trackside. Maybe I want to cut a cooling hole open a little wider or something like that. Scissors are nice to have on hand. And then tuning screwdriver. Tuning screwdriver is so important to have. And my tip here for that is find a nice long shank screwdriver so it could get down inside of a body to the needle valves where, if you have a short driver, you might have to pull up the body or take off the body. So you definitely want to have one with a long shank. And then this one here has the rubber tip on it. So I use that to stop the flywheel. Once I stop the flywheel, make sure that the piston is at bottom dead center for the cool down. And it's just a good practice for when you're shutting down your engine. So good screwdriver is important to have. Pair of pliers, you never know when you're going to need a pair of pliers, so I have them on hand. Maybe you need to pop a ball end back on, so that's nice to have. And then this is important as well, a good wheel nut wrench. Excuse me. So this one right here is from ProTech RC, and this is actually a multi-tool, so it's got a little flywheel pin set here for like when you're doing your flywheel, tightening down to your engine. But here's the 17mm side. Just make sure you have a good wheel nut wrench, so when your pit guy is perhaps swapping out tires, maybe you brought an extra set of tires to try, he has the proper tools to swap out your wheels. Okay, now this is going into the overkill side of things. I have a box of hardware here. This has a lot of different hardware in it. So I've got 2mm screws, 3mm screws, cap head, socket head. I've got some more ventures in this one actually. Wheel nuts. Make sure you have an extra wheel nut just in case for whatever reason your wheel falls off during a race. All of us had it happen to us at one point. We forgot to tighten one wheel and it fell off. Make sure you have a wheel nut because those are hard to find on a track. And I actually have extra pinion gears in here as well for when I'm racing electric. There's that off chance that a pinion gear could fall off, and finding it on the track is a problem. So if you want to get back out, get a few more laps in, having the spare parts on hand is kind of key for that. And then finally, since you do have that extra hardware, finding a compact wrench set. This is a wrench set from Hoody. So this has a 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3mm driver in it. And again, it's just so I could put that hardware in where it needs to be. If it vibrated out, I could put that in trackside. So that actually wraps up everything that's in my pit bag, and I think I've covered all the necessities of what you need for having equipment on hand for nitro racing trackside. This will make your tuning a lot easier when you're out there yourself just practicing, and it'll certainly make your pit guy's life a whole lot easier. No more fighting afterwards, like, why didn't you fill my car quicker? Well, I couldn't find the fuel gun. Having everything prepared and on hand is key. So I hope you found some useful tips there. I hope you got some ideas to make your pit bag better for your racing. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to rcdriver.com. We've got a lot more useful tips like this coming up. And of course, if you need some information right now, you could head over to rcdriver.com.